Welcome back, family. This is On the Shift. I am Jason. And if you have been walking with me from the start, let me pause right here and say thank you. Thank you for having the courage to show up, not just here, but for yourself. Because this kind of a journey, it's not surface work. This is soul work. And soul work is sacred, it's brave. And yes, my friend, it's also messy. It's okay. We're here. Today, I want to talk about something many of us avoid, but desperately need to understand. Healing is not a straight line. We live in a culture that's obsessed with fast turnarounds and filtered victories. But real healing, trust me when I tell you, it doesn't obey your calendar. It doesn't move in straight lines. It curves, it spirals, it stalls. And sometimes it sends you right back to the place you thought you had left behind. But here's the truth that might just set you free. That doesn't mean you're failing. It means you're still healing. You ready? Are you sure? I won't leave you. Stay with me. Let's get into it. Pull the curtain back on a few myths that we've been taught, either directly or through unspoken expectations. Myth number one: healing is quick. Hmm. Myth number two: once you're healed, you're done. Myth number three: if the pain comes back, you did something wrong. Lies, all of it, just pure lies. Healing is more like peeling an onion that crosses a finish line. You get through one layer, and just when you think you're clear, another one presents itself. That's not regression, that's revelation, my friends. Yeah, you're not going back. There's just more to it than meets the eye. God is not exposing you to shame you, He's revealing you to restore you layer by layer. Some days healing looks like worship. Other days could look like weeping under the covers. Sometimes it's a belly laugh with people who you love, and sometimes it's just the courage to say, no more. It's not always pretty. It's not always polished. It's not always something you'd want to post about or put on display. But hear me, it's always holy. Because holiness isn't the absence of struggle, my friend. It's the presence of surrender. Can we just take a moment, even right now, do the soul work of being present in surrender? Can you just close your eyes for a moment? We won't stay here long, but I want you to just feel where you are in your body, in your mind, in your spirit. And whether there's a contradiction in any of those places or whether they are all aligned, can you just acknowledge how you feel and surrender to that in the now? It's sometimes the decision to stay when everything inside you screams, leave. It's the choice to feel when it would be easier to numb. I was thinking about that the other day. Was thinking about the places in my life where I am numb. We all have those places, so don't look at me in that tone of voice. Sometimes because of what we do and who we are, uh, things that really should impact us don't impact us because we see it, we feel it, we experience it so often that it just does not affect us the way that it would or that it could. It's the faith to hope again when disappointment would rather have you shut down. Every time you choose to stay present with your pain instead of running from it, you are participating in your own resurrection. And this is interesting that this would line up like this. I did not plan these episodes like this, but we are in resurrection season. Every time you say, I will heal, I will grow, I will believe again, you are rolling away yet another stone that tried to seal your story. Holiness is found not just on the mountaintop moments, but in the quiet, sort of bloody battles that keep your heart soft. Holiness happens when you cry and pray anyway. Ugh. When you doubt and show up anyway. When you wrestle and still dare to lift your hands and say, nevertheless, not my will, but yours be done. You are not weak because it's messy. You are not less spiritual because it's harder than you thought. You are not disqualified because healing is taking longer than you expected. I want you to hear me, and I want you to hear me clearly as I look right at you. You are holy ground in motion. You are resurrection in progress. You are the evidence that grace is greater than grief. So take a breath, take a step. Stay tender, stay reachable, stay hope filled, because you are not failing. You, my friend, are rising. It may not always look pretty, but just remember it is always, always holy. All right, let's shake that off. We can shake it off. Woo! Let's get to the next step because we got to talk about relapse and grief and regression because it's a part of life. It happens. Let's talk about the stuff sometimes that we're too embarrassed to say out loud. There will be days that make you question everything. Did you hear me? Did you hear what I said? Come on, children. Did you hear me? There will be days it's going to make you question everything. Days where a familiar trigger hits or an old emotion returns, and you find yourself thinking, didn't I already heal from this? What is this? What is going on? I've been there. I remember a moment, I won't lie, I'm not gonna lie to you, where I snapped in a way that I shouldn't have, and it even shocked me. I thought I was beyond that. I thought that version of me was dead and buried, left behind with old chapters, old struggles, old pain. But in the unguarded moment, old anger, old survival instincts, old fear shot up like fire in the thought that I thought was long extinguished. And for a moment, I felt ashamed. I, the elder, the minister, I, the one who loves God, who sings his praises, embarrassed, disappointed in myself. I thought After all this growth, after all this healing, how could this still be in me? But what I realized later was this was not failure, it was a flare up. A flare up is not a sign that you're failing. No, it's a sign that there's something deeper still needing to be seen, soothed, and surrendered. It's an invitation not to beat up on yourself, but to lean into the next layer. Layers. Remember, we talked about that onion, the next layer of healing. Healing is not linear. It doesn't move in a perfect straight line where you never feel old wounds again. Healing is cyclical. It cycles back, not to shame you, but to deepen you, to teach you how to respond to yourself with mercy this time, not judgment. You didn't fail. You didn't lose all your progress. You didn't erase your growth. You discovered a part of you that still needed love, not punishment. And friend, my friend, this is holy ground. This is sacred work. This is a real battlefield where resurrection power shows up. Every flare up is a flare sent up from your soul, a cry for more light, more freedom, more truth. You're not who you used to be, but you're still becoming who you were always meant to be. So breathe, take a breath, forgive yourself, learn what the moment came to teach you, and then rise again. Listen, if you follow me on social media, I was at a gathering this weekend for uh, a young man that calls me uncle. He was going on his prom send off, and I always seem to find myself in the kitchen. Many of you know that I love to cook, and for a number of years did catering. And so, in this particular setting, they had one it's a small apartment. There was a young lady that was fixing plates. And I don't know why the people that work in the kitchen just seem to have the not the most nice attitude. That was a nice way for me to put it. And and so she was giving everybody attitude as they was coming to get their plates about what they wanted and how much of it they wanted or how much of it she was willing to give them based on the food that was present. And but the utensils, the forks and the spoons were back by the sink. And so she would hand the people the plates, and anytime they said that they wanted a fork or utensil, she would have to walk back to get it. And I said to her, it might be easier for you if you just bring the utensils forward so that they're here and the people could grab their own utensil as you pass them the plate. Ugh. And her response to me was less than kind, basically telling me to mind my business. And I was good. I was proud of myself because here is he who knows how to match energy, who knows how to get a clap back. And later on in the evening, as I was preparing to go, she was commenting on how tired she was. And I'm thinking in my head, that's because you've done a 15-mile marathon in the span of 5 feet. I'm telling you, it wasn't that big. She was worn out. And I just privately chuckled to myself because there is growth there. You've got to learn moment by moment what that teaches you. And I had to celebrate that in me, not publicly, not as a clapback, not as getting my lick back, Not saying if you had listened to me, listen. Nope, 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 nope. Celebrate the small wins, celebrate the big wins. And even if there's some regression, rise again. Why? Because you're not disqualified. You are being refined. You are not falling apart. You are being remade from glory to glory. I know this is a lot of spiritual talk today. I feel something in me after yesterday's appeal. Healing does not make you invincible. It makes you aware. You still get cut, but you now you know how to clean the wound, how to refresh yourself. Grief is not linear. Triggers are not personal attacks. Old habits, they don't make you weak. That just means you're still becoming. You got something you still got to work on. So please, I'm telling you, don't beat yourself up when the shadows return. Instead, I want you to think of this as a time where you can bless the moment as an invitation to go deeper than before. So, sort of our last point, then I'll let you go. What do you do when you're tired? When the journey feels endless? When healing feels like a moving target? Just when you think you're close, it shifts again. When growth feels like you're climbing uphill in the rain, carrying the weight that no one else sees. This is what you do, my brother, my sister. You anchor. You don't anchor in your emotions because they change. Come on, let's be honest. So we wishy-washy. Them emotions will switch up on you. You don't even anchor in other people's applause because it's fickle. One moment they'll be clapping for you, and the next moment they'll be in the corner talking about you. You don't even anchor, you cannot anchor in your own strength because even when even the strongest get weary, you've got to anchor in something deeper. You anchor in the promises that are spoken over your life when you were strong enough to believe them. Hmm. You anchor in the truth that your progress is not measured by how you feel, but how you refuse to quit. Come on, just pat yourself, even if it's on your, or just touch yourself on your head. I know we used to someone doing this for us in church, but sometimes you just got to lay hands on yourself, sometimes in multiple places, and say, I will not quit. I refuse to quit. You anchor in the reality that storms don't last forever, but anchored souls do. I'm reminded of a song by Douglas Miller. My soul is anchored in the Lord. You anchor in the God who does not shift with the winds. The scripture says he's the same yesterday, today, and forevermore. You anchor in the vision that's still alive, even when your energy feels dead. You anchor in the faith that tells you this too shall pass. But what God is building in me will remain. Anchoring is not passive. Anchoring, my friend, is warfare. Anchoring is saying, I refuse to drift into despair. I refuse to be carried off by disappointment. I refuse to let exhaustion drive me away from the destiny I was born to fulfill. When you anchor, you tether your weary heart to an unchanging hope. You drop the anchor deep into the unseen and trust that even when you can't move forward as fast as you want, you are held, you are safe. you are still connected to purpose. The waves will come. Oh, yeah, they will. The winds will howl. The tides will pull, but the anchor holds. You may cry. You may question. You may have moments where you sit down right where you are and wonder if it's worth it. Eee. Been there, done that. But just stay anchored because healing is not a race to be won, it's a resurrection to be lived. Growth is not a performance to present, it's a becoming to endure. And your soul knows anchored things survive the storm. So, what do you do when you're tired? You anchor. You ground yourself again. You remember who you are. You remember who God is. And you remember that the shore is ahead, even when you can't see it yet. You anchor and you let the storm pass because it will, and you will still be standing when it does. You don't anchor in performance, you anchor in presence. Just have to say that again. Here are three simple but sacred tools that's going to help you stay rooted. Actually, I have four rules. Number one, do morning check ins. Pause. Ask yourself, where am I today? If you could acknowledge that you have gotten out of the bed on the wrong side at the beginning of the day, it's going to help you because you got to be honest. You got to be honest with yourself. You got to be honest about what you're offering. And if a shift is needed, you've got to be willing to not only make the shift, you've got to be willing to own the shift. Do some mirror work. Number two, look yourself in the eyes and say, I'm proud of you. You're still here, and that matters. Get yourself, number three, get yourself a healing playlist. Sound shifts atmospheres. It could be worship, it could be vibe, it could be a cry, it could be a move. Let the music minister to you. And when I say that, I don't want you to think that I am just talking about gospel music, because sometimes you may need something else. Don't take my elder card away from me. Yeah, you might need a little R&B. You might need a little jazz. You may need something that's just instrumental, don't have no words, but yet it takes you somewhere. It lifts your spirit, it soothes your doubts and calms your fears. And that doesn't come in a genre, you know. Wow. That I said it earlier. Number four, you've got to celebrate small wins. I spoke up. I said no. I got out of bed. I didn't text them back. The victory isn't always loud. Sometimes it's subtle, but it's still sacred. And hear this, whatever you do, don't isolate. Healing happens in communities. Even Jesus had disciples. Wow. I know we sort of turned that thing around like the disciples had Jesus, but Jesus had disciples. He had those that walk closely with him because community is important. You don't have to do this alone. You're not supposed to. Text a friend, join a circle, DM a safe voice, connect and stay connected. Life happens. I was with some very close loved ones on yesterday, and while we were celebrating and just enjoying each other's company, one got a call that uh, A family member had lost a job and then, went home and I don't know if there was an attempt to unalive himself, but at least pointed the gun, to his head. And when life happens, don't isolate because we'll do foolish things, we'll do crazy things in response to life. You got community. You have people that love you, even if they haven't said it. They would go out of their way to come get you, whether it is to just go for a ride or go get something to eat. That's what we love to do in our community. I've been this color all my life. Come on, let's go get something to eat. Let's go get a drink. DRANK, a drink. Whatever it is, you got a circle. And if you don't, I mean, I can't be responsible for everybody, but you can certainly reach out to us here at Apostolic World Empowerment and you become a brother or sister, just how my life is set up. Listen, got to get you out of here. Here's the invitation for you this week. Let go of the pressure to arrive. What do you mean by that, Jason? What do you mean by that, overseer? The truth is, there's no magic finish line where you suddenly have all of the answers, where all of the wounds are sealed, where all of your doubts are silenced, and life just unfolds without struggles. It's non existent. Arriving is an illusion. Write that down on your notes. Arriving is an illusion because life with God is not about arrival, it's about alignment. Alignment with His pace, alignment with His voice, alignment with His purpose in you as it unfolds layer by layer, season by season. You are not behind. You are not late. You are not losing. You are being formed in ways that can't be captured on a timeline or measured in human milestones. Progress is not always public. Growth is not always glamorous. Transformation is not always visible, but it's happening. So let go of the pressure to prove something to people who were never assigned to validate your journey in the first place. Did you hear what I said? They weren't assigned to validate you. So you don't owe them anything. You owe them nothing. Let go of the internal deadlines that you've placed on yourself based on someone else's highlight reel, even if it's mine. Let go of the lie that says by now you should have already made it. You are making it. Every breath you take in faith, every day you choose hope over despair, every time you choose healing over hiding, you are becoming, not just arriving. And if you stay faithful to your becoming, you will find yourself standing in rooms you once only prayed about, speaking words you once were too broken to form, living in wholeness you once thought was out of reach. But you will get there, not because you sprinted in fear, but because you walked with God in surrender. So today, release the pressure to arrive, embrace the power of abiding. Trust the slow work of God. I know we read all the scriptures and He did it suddenly and immediately, but sometimes it's a slow work. Honor the masterpiece that is unfolding inside you, one brushstroke at a time. You don't have to arrive to be loved. You don't have to arrive to be impactful. You don't have to arrive to be chosen. You already are. You already are. Let me say it one more time. You already are. Breathe. Keep walking. You're exactly where you're meant to be. Next tool, let go of the guilt when pain resurfaces. We've said it a couple of times in this session. Healing is not a straight road, it's a winding path. It's wholly messy and a courageous journey. And sometimes, without warning, old pain resurfaces like a wave that you thought had gone still. That doesn't mean that you failed. It doesn't mean that you've gone backwards. It doesn't mean that you're weak or broken or beyond hope. It means that you're human. Can you just give yourself permission to be human? Means that the layers of your soul are still tender, still sensitive, and still learning how to breathe fully again. Feeling pain is not failure. It's not regression. It's not a sign that you're stuck. It's simply an invitation to see deeper, to soothe deeper, to surrender deeper, to love yourself through what still needs healing. Let go of the guilt. You don't have to carry shame for wounds you didn't create. You don't have to punish yourself for emotions you didn't schedule. You don't have to apologize for being in process. Every tear you cry is still seen. Every ache you feel is still understood. Every flare of old fear is met by new mercy every morning by the Father. You are not disqualified by your humanity. You are not abandoned because you're hurt. You are not less valuable because you feel. God is not disgusted with your pain. He is near to it. He is near, the scripture says, to the brokenhearted. He binds up their wounds. Psalm 147 and 3. So today, release the guilt, release the shame, release the lie that says you should be over it by now. Whether that's a lie you telling yourself or somebody else told you, release it. Healing is not measured in the absence of pain. It is measured by the presence of courage to face it when it comes. And you, my friend, are courageous. You're courageous because you've been watching. You're watching this, even if this is the only episode that you've watched. You're courageous. You're healing and you're becoming. Pain may revisit, but shame is no longer welcome. Come on, let's take that as a breathable moment. Pain may revisit, but shame is no longer welcome. And guilt no longer gets to write your story. You are not where you started. You are not where you were. And you are more whole than you realize. So breathe, feel, heal. Lastly, let go of the need to look healed before you actually are. Hmm. We live in a world that glorifies the image of healing more than the reality of it. We applaud the polished post, the curated capture, the smiling selfies that say, I'm good now, I'm strong, I'm over it. hmm hmm With your, your head twisted and your lips popping, all of that kind of stuff. But real healing is not about optics, it's about wholeness. It's about the kind of transformation that may be invisible to the world, but undeniable to your soul. You don't owe anybody a performance. You don't have to stage your strength. You don't have to parade your progress just to prove you're worthy. Healing is sacred work. It happens in private before it shines in public. It happens in tear-stained pillows before it ever happens with a triumphant testimony. It happens in silent prayers, restless nights, and surrendered mornings long before anyone else sees the evidence. Let go of the pressure to showcase healing you have not fully yet lived. There's no shame in not being finished, no condemnation in being in progress. There is no failure in admitting, I'm still working through this. God is not rushing you to impress people. God is not pursuing you to be okay, to make others comfortable. God is inviting you to be honest enough to heal deeply, yeah, not hastily. Healing at the soul level requires time, patience, and truth. And God would rather you be whole in secret than celebrate in pretense. He would rather you heal in the right pace, at the right pace, than hustle for premature applause. You don't have to post it to prove it. You don't have to announce it to authenticate it. You don't have to fake it to finish it. Your story is it's not just about surviving, it's about truly living an abundant life. And the only way to live again is to be honest about where you really are. Here we go again. So breathe, be real, be gentle with yourself. Stay rooted in the slow miracle God is writing inside of you. Healing is happening, even when it doesn't look Instagram ready, Facebook worthy, even when it doesn't make sense to the crowd, even when it's silent and sacred. Listen, if this episode spoke to your soul, pass it on. Share it with someone else who's still trying to figure it out. Let them know you're not broken, you're becoming whole. Next week, we're talking about designing a life that's uh, fit for who you're actually becoming, not who you used to be. Because survival was necessary, but now it's time to thrive. Until then, my friend, be gentle with yourself. Stay anchored in grace. And remember, even in the mess, you're still healing. Even in the dark, you're still chosen. Even on the hard days, you're still shifting. If no one has told you yet today, I love you, I see you, and I'll see you soon. Make it a great day.